Sustainable Ecosystems, LLC, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, since 2012, a forestry service that specializes in grants, surveys, forest and water restoration. Federal land forest fires have cut into reservation land, and this has led to native tribes setting up what they call compact agreements. A compact agreement is when tribes that prove that they can do better than BIA feds and can become compact and apply the Self-Governance Act to federal land and take it over. Sustainable Ecosystems currently works with 8 tribes: the Taos, the San Juan Pueblo, otherwise known as the Oke-Awinge, the Picaris, the Nambe, the Powaki, the Tasuki, the San Ildefonso, and Santa Clara, otherwise known as Kapa-Awinge, or Valley of the Red Roses. Sustainable Ecosystems, LLC with Bruce Bauer applies these 4 main forestry strategies. This includes surveys and monitoring, in which, on federal projects, data must be acquired from before, during, then after, using photography and other media management assets. Secondly, stream restoration. In this, Sustainable Ecosystems, LLC will visit burned areas and reconnect the water to floodplains and other parts of the forest and mountain areas. This is called induced meandering, in which an S shape is created to make flow healthy, strong, and vital to its surroundings. The third method is thinning, in which Sustainable Ecosystems will identify through their surveys areas of forest that have become tinderboxes and long stretches of trees that have clumped together. In the transitional border zones of native land and federal land, trees can clump together in what becomes a tinderbox for forest fires. Part of the work for Sustainable Ecosystems is to clear invasive species and to remove all of the fallen timber by shredding to a chipper or a masticator, or to donate as firewood to the local tribal region. Fourth is the heart of restoration, in which planting trees is one of our greatest steps. Planting trees is a huge process that involves the collection of native pine cones in October. Cones are processed by leaving out in the sun. As the sun bakes down on the pine cones, the seeds come out. Crews collect seeds on dry tarps. The seeds go through a rigorous viability testing, checking for worms and seed viability, checking for their germination rate, how much a seed will produce, the strength of the seed, and its chances of growth success. Trees used in a tree planting project are typically the ponderosa pine, Douglas firs, white fir, Engelmann spruce, blue spruce, limber pine, willows, and cottonwoods. Sustainable Ecosystems can find its grants through grants.gov. Grants come through the Forest Service, EPA, U.S. Forest CRFP program grants, U.S. Forest Collaborative Forest Restoration Program grants, also the CFRP Collaborative Forest Restoration Program, and NEPA projects, including one outside of Cuba in the San Pedro Parks Wilderness area. There are 3 kinds of NEPA projects. NEPA planning projects in 4 parts include archaeological surveys, wildlife surveys, timber stand exams, in which plots are set up and trees are measured. NEPA stands for National Environmental Project Act. NEPA is a 12-step process. Sustainable Ecosystems, LLC will write proposals for 3 types of CFRP grants. 1 is to get money to do planning work. 2 is to get money for implemented field work. And 3 is to get money for wood utilization. The Santa Clara region of New Mexico had 200 acres of wetlands, fires, and flash floods. Only 15 acres remain. They need creek diversions, a laying out of logs, and trap and release of beavers into the wetlands. Before work is to be done, a wilderness survey is required. Creatures like the indigenous non-poisonous red racer snake and the spotted owl can experience a dramatic upheaval of their livelihood if work is to be done in an area before it has been properly surveyed. These animals need to be protected, and no work is to be done until the area is surveyed and it is understood that these animals are not occupying a particular area in which a project will be implemented. Sustainable Ecosystems LLC will send an owl expert to an area. Usually this starts at 1 o'clock in the morning and continues throughout the early, dark hours of morning. The objective in a wildlife survey is to find rare, near-extinct species such as the spotted owl and create a buffer area around the home of that animal so it is protected. The northern goshawk is another protected species in New Mexico. Experts create buffer perimeters, report all findings of these birds, and report to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Other endangered species of the area are the southwest willow flycatcher, the New Mexico spotted owl, the meadow jumping mouse, which are threatened by cows, the Jemez mountain salamander, the silvery minnow fish, and the black-footed ferret. Crews work on a per diem about 10 hours per day for 4 days at a time. 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes the crew will camp. Often there are stand exams, in which we follow a GPS coordinate with gear. Establish point coordinates to the plot center, drive stakes in the ground and measure trees within the plot. Pull cores from trees and see their age. 3 plots in 1. Count large, small, and transect dead branches. In the 1950s, the Army Corps of Engineers planted fast-growing root system plants that would stabilize the water banks. This was not done to be malicious, and it was not done to wipe out the local plants. But what did happen in the 1950s was the Army Corps of Engineers planted Russian olive trees, Chinese elm trees, and salt cedar trees. These plants were put here originally to protect people and property from floods. In the West, flash floods are a critical danger to people and property, and so they were put there to protect. However, since 1950 to present, these plants have taken deep root and taken over. In 2017, these 1950s plants are killing and taking over the local trees. The local trees that are threatened include the cottonwood tree, otherwise known as the Rio Grande narrowleaf, the coyote willow, the peach leaf willow, the silver stem willow, the blue willow, and the beb willow. These trees, native to the area and entitled to the creek beds and the water that they drink along the stream banks by which they are planted, and are entitled to a strong, thriving, healthy life and use as firewood, lumber, and other resources. Sustainable Ecosystems works in partnership with both federal and tribal powers Sustainable Ecosystems LLC with Bruce Bauer is a leading forestry company in northern New Mexico that is currently working on projects in the Jemez Mountains, the Sangria de Cristo Mountains, and the outlying areas. Sustainable Ecosystems LLC in Santa Fe, New Mexico, since 2012, a forestry service that specializes in grants, surveys, forest and water restoration. Call Project Director and CEO Bruce Bauer for more information. Email bruceecosystems@gmail.com, bruceecosystems@gmail.com, or call 505-795-2066.